Hello everyone, this is Bob Martin, the RC Sub Guy with the NautilusDryDocks.com. I have an upcoming event that is coming up in September 18th to 20th in Cotta, Georgia. It is Subfest 2020, and part of the fun there is newbies or people without RC submarines can come and try their hand at driving an RC submarine. So I need to have one there. Let me show you what I'm working on. So as you can see behind me, I have this bright yellow boat, and some of you who are in the hobby will probably recognize the bits and pieces as being something called the Thundertiger Neptune. Now, if you have not had the chance to play with one of these, they are a ton of fun, and they are, or were, because they're out of production now, the ideal starter boat, because this is a full static diving RC submarine. It is perfect for getting your feet wet, so to speak, in the RC submarine hobby. So I have managed to come across one of these. I'm going to be bringing it to Georgia for the event so people can try their hand at driving it. But I'm going to be doing some upgrades to it. And I wanted to show you what I got going on and show you the inside guts of one of these in case you've ever wondered what it looks like inside. So you can see I've got this in a little bit of a state of disassembly because I am, as I said, going to be doing some repairs and upgrades. When I got it, the big sealed lead acid battery inside, it's a 12 volt, 2.2 amp hour sealed lead acid battery, was completely dead. It was only holding about 3 volts, and so I swapped that out. Reason I went with the sealed lead acid battery as opposed to like a big 5 amp lithium polymer battery or something like that is that I didn't want to mess up the trim. I didn't really want to be bothered with having to retrim this particular boat. It works perfectly fine with the 2.2 amp. Actually, I put a 2.3 in, and it's the exact same size. So that had to get done. One thing I want to mention about these boats, which is really, really cool, is they have a fully fledged 6-channel RC system. This is from Ace RC. So you only use 4 channels to drive the boat. You got 2 spare channels, and what I'll do, I'll see if I can do this one-handed. Show you the inside workings of these really cool boats. Up in the front here, you've got your main sort of power distribution hub, and these little switches here in the front, you can see all the inner workings. Activate these mechanical switches that turn the boat on and off. Here is the big sealed lead acid battery right in the middle, and the 6-channel receiver is hiding up in the front there, the antenna for which is kind of wound around this bulkhead. You got some LED indicators for the dive control system. Kind of tells you what the system is doing. Got a pump, a Peristaltic Pump for the ballast system, a couple of servos for your dive planes and rudders, electronic speed controller, and hiding in the back in there is your motor. But this is the ballast system in here. You can see it's a big rubber bladder, and basically the way that this works is that pump kicks in, pumps water into that bladder. The model becomes heavier, and down you go. So very cool setup, and I love that you've still got this like transparent cylinder. You can see everything that's going on. A couple of things that people complain about, obviously the looks. It's a bright yellow boat. I'm gonna be converting this to something a little bit more my speed, and I'm not gonna spoil the surprise, but we're gonna get to it here in a few minutes. The other thing that people kind of complained about, oh, it looks like I can actually tilt that up. There you go. Is the propeller, and I've upgraded that to a much larger 3-bladed propeller. I had to, of course, source one of applicable diameter, bore it out to 4 millimeters, and mount it to the shaft there. But other than that, these boats are really, really bulletproof. They're really slick, and they are tons of fun to drive. They've got capability in here to mount, for example, a GoPro in the front, because this thing just kind of snaps on right here, and you can record video, or if you've got video out capability, you can actually mount that camera inside the pressure-proof compartment and run the cable out this fitting here. Haven't really seen a lot of people do that. You have, of course, to run a tether back to shore. Not a lot of fun. I think I'll be bringing my Hero Cam with me, mounted in there, and we'll be driving it around to see what we can see. So basically what I'm going to be doing at this point, I'm going to be doing some disassembly, because mostly from this point what I'm going to be doing are some cosmetic changes. We're going to do away with this clear plastic bubble that kind of sat like that on the top, and then this kind of sat up there, and it was kind of funky looking. We're going to make it more steampunky, a little more rivety, which is what I am all about. Here's the box that the original Thundertiger came in. Actually a neat little package you can see in there. Everything's made out of ABS plastic. It's all 12 volt, full static diving, like I said, and basically fully assembled and ready to go. So this is basically what you see, and that is the stock Thundertiger Neptune right there. As I said, it's not going to look like that when I'm done with it. Alright, a little bit of progress to report on the Thundertiger. It's a new color. Did a little bit of gray primer and then an aluminum paint. And this is going to be hopefully reminiscent of steel, and I am going to be rusting the heck out of it here momentarily. I've also got a new sail, a new bridge on the 3D printer right now, kind of make it look a little bit more old school, steampunkish, World War II-ish. We'll see how it turns out. I gotta fill it and prime it and paint it, but we'll throw it on there and see what it looks like. Okay, I've knocked out the base coat of the new paint job here, and since the boat is turned to the back, I just want to show you what that prop looks like. That's that upgraded prop that is basically just like a millimeter smaller in diameter than the ring there. Should give a lot more thrust, I'm hoping. See how it turns out. So this is a base coat of flat silver, and you know, it looks kind of cool. And this is a 3D printed bridge that I did. It's a little bit more kind of steampunky. It's held on magnetically, and you can see the magnets in the bottom there, and then in the hull right here. And there's a little lip in the back that slips in and just sits down and locks in place there. I also did this resin emblem and glued that on the front. I really want this to be very, you know, Victorian steampunk-esque, so I've got, you know, this all the metal with the gears and everything on there. I did not spend a ton of time on this at all. It's a little rough, but you know, this was just a quick project, so not museum quality by any stretch. But what I'm going to do now, I'm going to rust the living heck out of it, and for that I'm going to be using the Modern Masters Metal Effects Oxidizing Iron Paint and the Rust Activator. And basically what I'm going to do, I'm going to mix it up in here. I am going to slather it all over the boat. This is the same technique I use to weather up my Nautilus models, and I'm just kind of anxious to see how it turns out. That fresh out of the box silver paint job is going to look awfully rusty here in a few minutes. Well, we have a boat. I'm going to call it done, with the exception of testing it in the pool, which I'll do shortly, just to make sure that the trim didn't get thrown off with the addition of the new tower. But I did a really quick and nasty weathering job because I didn't have a lot of time to spend on it, and as you can see, this is the end result. Let's show you how it turned out. So here is the boat. What I did, as you saw earlier, there was a base coat of aluminum spray paint. And basically I used that Modern Masters rust. I rusted everything over, and then I used some steel wool to rub it down and get rid of all the excess. And then I used some pastels and just kind of colored, you know, the hull in there. Again, this is super quick and dirty. If I was going to do a real professional job, there would have been multi-stages. Just don't have the time to allocate to that, unfortunately. But I think it turned out really cool. And one thing I really like here is the captain. There's our little robot in the forward observation dome, getting ready to explore the depths. Basically, he, I don't know if I can do this. Let's see here. There we go. And there he is. He's just on a little platform that's adhered to the acrylic pressure plate there, and it is permanently glued, but you know, obviously if there is an issue for whatever reason, you can just pop it off. I really don't think it's going to change the trim very much, if at all. So pretty stoked to get this thing in the water and see how it looks. Well, the initial test of our upgraded Thundertiger Neptune didn't quite go as planned or as well as hoped. A couple of things. The ballast is off, so just putting it in there with the ballast tank completely empty of water, it is almost at a perfectly neutral trim. So that's a little bit weird. I mean, I added a little bit of weight with a bigger tower, but it shouldn't have been that much. And second of all, when I tried to command the ballast system to test the ballast system, there was no response whatsoever. So this is what I've got going on. This again is the interior guts of the boat, and you can see the main drive battery there and the ballast weight. So I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to remove this one, and we're going to see what that does to the overall weight of the boat. I think that is going to give us the proper amount of positive buoyancy. The issue that I discovered is that this is a peristaltic pump that pumps water from this intake through some hoses into this bladder. The issue is that it looks like the shaft is slipping inside this rotating sleeve in there, and it is not pumping water. So unfortunately, that means I've got to completely disassemble the stern, remove this cap, undo all these bolts, slip everything out, and get to that pump to either repair it or replace it. So much for a quick and easy build. Alright, I am deep into the repairs of that peristaltic pump, and man, take a look at the mess we got going on here. Everything's been taken apart. I want to show you this, like, wow. This is the main watertight cylinder, the clear acrylic cylinder there, but holy cow, look at the thickness. That's like 1/4 of an inch thick. You know, I would not be surprised if this thing retained watertight integrity to like 50 or 100 feet. It's incredible how over-engineered this model is. I was impressed with it before. As I tear into it now, I am becoming more and more so. Let's take a look at some of this other stuff. I mean, look at the size of this peristaltic pump. It is absolutely massive. All of the motors are capacitor suppressed for noise. And you can actually see that with the drive motor here as well. That's a big motor, you know, a big drive motor for this boat. The other thing is the ballast bag is not just a typical rubber blood pressure sleeve. This is nylon reinforced. It is really, really durable. Like, It's incredible. I'm super impressed. So at any rate, I managed to extract the peristaltic pump. I'm going to show you what was wrong with it. Okay, here is the pump. Now you can see this white assembly inside there, and that's the roller that rolls on this rubber pipe here. Now when I turn the power on, it's not moving, it's slipping. So obviously it's not pumping, and the boat can't submerge. So I'm going to tear into this, see what the heck's going on. Okay, I am flummoxed. I don't understand how this is supposed to work. You can see these little nylon tubes inside, and I don't understand. These are going to like roll around on the inside there and push the water, but this is just a spinning shaft, and the spinning shaft goes in the middle and then just sits there and spins. So I am 100% confused over how this is supposed to work. The only thing I can think of is that this was improperly assembled from the factory. So, problem. All right, here is what I've come up with as options here. There is a missing piece, and you can see this in this other peristaltic pump that I had. There's an assembly that fits on the end, and it goes into these rollers, and that is missing in this assembly. So Thundertiger, quality control, dudes. What the heck? But I do have this. This is a little peristaltic pump, hoping that it's 12 volts. The other option that I have is a little gear pump, and we can try that one as well. The only issue with the gear pump is that potentially the water pressure can flow back past it when it does not have power. So I think option A, this peristaltic pump is going to be our go-to. It's going to be slower than this one, but it'll work. So let's conduct some tests. All right, I think we have a winner. I ordered a pump off of Amazon, came the next day. This is what we've got here. This is a monster. It's supposed to do about 400 milliliters per minute, which is pretty quick for a peristaltic pump, and that makes sense because this is huge. It is a little bit bigger, probably slightly heavier than the stock pump that came with the model, and it's going to be a bit of a tight fit to get it to fit in there, but fit it will. The tests worked really, really well. It filled up the little ballast tank in about a minute. Well, maybe less than that, 45 seconds, I'm thinking. So what I need to do now is properly prep this motor. I'm going to attach some silicone wire to the leads and send it up to the pump controller, which is up in the front of the boat there. And of course we're going to make sure that we put some capacitors across the leads to eliminate electrical noise so it doesn't mess with any of the other electronics. All right, I think we have it done. I got the boat reassembled. Let's take a look at what I did. We've got the peristaltic pump installed there. It was a bit of a tight fit, but fit it did. I've taken out one of these big heavy weights because, as I mentioned before, when I dropped it in previously, it was basically with the ballast bag completely empty like that. It was at perfect neutral trim, which is not very cool because you need obviously to bring ballast on board to get it to submerge. So hopefully the removal of this weight will help offset that. I've moved the weight back to make it a little bit more central as well. No idea how that's going to work out. So my plan right now is to just tape temporarily the side on, and then drop the tower on, put the front on, and throw it in the pool for trimming. The reason I'm going to use the tape is just that I can get easy access to the interior, so I can move the weight back and forth, add weight, take weight away, whatever I need to do to get it perfect. Well, I'm going to say that this Odyssey has now drawn to a close. This new upgraded Neptune is now ready to ply the deeps in Cahutta, Georgia at our upcoming Subfest 2020 regatta. Had her out in the pool as you saw, and man, are these things ever fun to drive. It'll turn itself around in basically its body length and maintain depth really easily. The upgraded Peristaltic Pump works really well. I am very happy with how it turned out. Hopefully you enjoyed this little journey in upgrading this beautiful little sub. Word to the wise, if you do come across an old Thundertiger Neptune, grab it. It is 100% worth it. They are so much fun and ripe for upgrades and modification to make it look really cool. My name is Bob Martin, the RC Subguy with the NautilusDryDocks.com. Thank you for joining me once again, and hey, we will catch you next time.